Hey, hi all. Welcome back to BRR Knowledge Center. And today topic is constructor and types of constructors, right? In C sharp. Okay, so let's get see what is a constructor, and then let's see what type of constructors we have in C sharp. So constructors are a special methods inside of a class defined in the, defined by a developer in C sharp that are going to be automatically invoked, right? When an object of a class is going to create, right? So this constructor basically using it for initializing the data of members or class members. So if there are no explicitly defined constructors in the class, the compiler creates a default constructor automatically. Understood? So when you define constructor, constructors are, right? Constructors are special methods, right? In a short, right? Those are automatically called when an object is created for a class to initialize the class members, right? Data. Understood? If there are no constructors defined, if there are no constructors defined, right? Then the compiler will create a default constructor, right? Automatically. Understood? So in C sharp, right? We have below constructors, default constructor or parameterless constructor. Second is parameterized constructor. Third one is copy constructor. So also we have other constructors like static constructors, right? And I think we have which one, constant constructors. I think I'm not sure. So we have other constructors also in the C sharp, right? But we will not regularly use those constructors, but we only use these three type of constructors. Okay. So coming to the default constructor, right? The default constructor is a constructor method which takes no arguments. Each object of a class is initialized with the default values that are specified in the default constructor. Therefore, it is not possible to initialize the different objects with different values. Understood? So default constructors. So a default constructor, right? A default constructor takes no arguments, right? Each object of the class, right, initialized with the default values. Hence, it is not possible, right, to initialize the different objects with different values. When there is no arguments, always you have the same value to your data class or class member, right? For example, right, class sum, instead of this class, I have X, I have Y, right? I'll declare them as private, right? And again here also, I'll declare them as a private. Understood? I'll change this to C sharp language. Okay, now I'm going to have a constructor called public sum. This is the default constructor. Hence, it doesn't have any arguments. Hence, by default, it is having some data, which is always same. Understood? Now, As part of this, I have another method to get sum, right? And here I'll just return x plus y. Understood? So what it is going to do is it is going to assign a default, values to my parameters. As it doesn't accept any parameters here, so we don't have a different objects to assign different values, even if you create instance to your class, because you're not accepting any values, hence always these values are same. So you'll get output is 15. This is what the default constructor. You connect to the parameterized constructor, right? Parameterized constructor. The parameterized constructor is going to take one or more parameters. Therefore, it can be initialized different class objects to different values. This is an advantage over the default constructor. If you take same example here, right? So a parameterized constructor can take one or more arguments. Therefore, it can initialize, right? It can initialize different class objects, right, to different values. This is the advantage, right, over the default constructor. Understood? Example, looking at here, I'm going to pass, right, parameters here so that every time when I give instance, the values will get changed dynamically. That's what the beauty of this parameterized constructor. Understood? This is all going to allow you to pass parameter arguments. Hence, we always pass different values. I'm going to initialize like this way. Sum equal to instance, right? Sum instance equal to new of what is this? Sum of 10, 20, right? In similar way, right? Every time I create the instances for this class, right? I'll pass different values. That's what the advantage of copy parameterized constructor. Now see copy constructor. What is a copy constructor? So a copy constructor initializes the object values by passing another object, right, from another instance. That means if a copy constructor initializes the object values by copying the data from another object. So copy constructor initializes, right, the object values by copying another object, by copying data from another object, by copying data from another object. It basically creates a new object which is copy of the old object. It basically creates new object, right? It basically creates new object which is of or which is a copy of old object, which is a copy of. So copy constructor is useful whenever we want to initialize a new instance to an existing instance's values. So this copy constructors, we generally use it when we want to initialize, right? A new instance based on existing instance we will pass. For example, I'm just copying the same thing. An example here, we copy and paste. So I'm going to define constructor here, sum equal to sum of into A into B and then assigning it. I'm going to have another constructor public sum. of sum s. That means copying the old constructor and passing that object to a new constructor, right? And here I'm going to assign x equal to x dot x, y equal to s dot y. Understood? So once after here, what we need to do is sum of instance 1 equal to new sum, right? 2, 9, right? And then if you want to, create an instance based on the existing instance, right? You can simply say is 2, right? New sum of, right? Yes, right. So I'm just passing, right? The instance 1. This is instance 2. I'm just using old instance. That means if you want to pass old existing instance details to another instance, we use copy constructors. Okay. I hope you understood the constructors and the type of constructors we have in C#, right? That is parameterized constructor, default constructor, and copy constructor, right? Thanks for listening to this video and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you. Yes,